Hi, my name is Jen and welcome to the Book Refuge, and today we are doing the mid-year Freakout book tag. This is the first year that I've been able to do it because last year I didn't start Booktube until midway through the year, and so I didn't have a lot to talk about because I wasn't reading as much. But this year, I mean, I've already read 76 books, so I had a lot to choose from, so that was really fun. Yeah, quite a few of these have multiple answers, so you'll have to forgive me. A lot of these are about things that you like, and I just have so many. So let's go ahead and dive in. The first one straight up asked you, what is your favorite book so far this year? So it was really hard, but the way that I picked most of these books is I had my Goodreads up and I just went through the list of 76 books, and whichever ones, like stood out the most, that's what I picked. And for this, I ended up having to go with A Curse So Dark and Lonely by Bridget Kemmerer. It's just so much that I love in the book. It's a Beauty and the Beast retelling, one of 4 I've read so far this year. And I loved the 3 main characters, Wren, Harper, and Gray. And I love the motivation of each of them. I feel for each of them. You're going to see me talk more about characters in this book later on. I just really enjoyed it. And I think, I was just expecting a mediocre Beauty and the Beast retelling, and I loved this. It was so great. I'm so excited for the sequel, which is A Heart So Fierce and Broken, and I can't wait for more. And when I was looking at my list, I decided to kind of save some of my favorites for other questions in this, but absolutely this is one of my favorite books this year, which I just made a video about that you saw the other day, my favorite books of the year. So there you can see all the books that are 5 stars so far for me. Next, your favorite sequel. So this I had to think all the way back to the first week of the year when I did the first tome topple, and I read The Iron Flower by Laurie Forrest. I love this so much. I think it expands and grows off of the groundwork that's made with the characters in the first book. A lot of people don't make it to the second book because they dislike the Black Witch so much. I didn't have a problem with the Black Witch the way other people did because I could see what the author was going to do. I'd also been told by some friends what was happening. If you don't know, just check out the Goodreads page for the Black Witch. The main character is pretty racist and a lot of other, bad connotations in the beginning, but it's because she's been isolated and kept apart from everyone her entire life. And she also looks like her grandmother, who is a pretty bad witch who did a lot of horrible things to a lot of different groups of people. And so when she comes out of isolation and goes to school, the different cultures and races of people she's around, they all treat her really badly because she looks like their grandmother. And so she then is like, oh, everybody must be right, everything they've said about these different races of people. But she ends up seeing through that and wants to get to know these people more, and he stands up and says, I'm not my grandmother. I'm not going to treat you that way. Please give me a chance. And so I really loved this sequel. I think if you didn't like The Black Witch, you really should give this a try. It's amazing, and I can't wait for the third one, which doesn't come out until next year. It doesn't come out until 2020, which is sad. But so much was set up in this, I'm okay with being patient. Next, a new release from this year that you haven't got to yet, which I have shelves full of this. I buy books pretty much every Tuesday when new releases come out. But the one I'm most excited to read and really want to get into is Peace and Turmoil, The Dark Shores, Book 1 by Elliot Brooks. Elliot Brooks is a booktuber. She does mostly fantasy, which I adore, and she wrote this beautiful book. I'm really excited for it. I adore Elliot, and I've heard good things about the book. The worst I've seen it get is a 3 stars, so that has me pretty excited for this. Don't know when I'll get to it, but I definitely want it on my list for this year. Next, most anticipated release that's for the second half of the year. This is easy. I'm a basic bitch here. I want Dark Dawn and I want Deviate. Deviate comes out, I think, just next week, and I can't wait. And Dark Dawn, Mama's hungry for, as well as so many of us are. It's been pushed back. It's okay. I'm fine. It's great. Those are the two I'm most looking for. Next, your biggest disappointments. I have 2 for this. I don't own them anymore because I get rid of books that I give less than 3 stars to. And that is Echo North, which is an East of the Sun, West of the Moon retelling, and The Disasters by M.K. England. Echo North is by Joanna Ruth Myers. Echo North, I just didn't like how it retold the story. I just didn't. It was very confusing. It was convoluted. The character who plays the beast/wolf type character, I didn't connect with him at all, which is very important when you're telling that kind of fairy tale retelling. But the book was beautiful. I'm really sad, but that's why it's the biggest disappointment for me, because East of the Sun, West of the Moon is my favorite fairy tale and book to retell, as we will see more coming up. And then The Disasters, I just had so much hope for it. There were some really cool characters inside, but I feel like the author made one character bisexual so that they could flirt with twice as many people. And I love some flirting. You'll know I really love my fantasy to be heavily romanced. However, I still want the story to be practical as much as it can. And there was just very inappropriate times to be flirting, and really these kids were thinking about their dicks every 5 seconds, and it was very frustrating because I just don't think you would when you're about to die, because you got no time for sex no matter which person you want when you're about to die. So it was a big disappointment for me. I read that during my 24-hour readathon, and I'm really sad that it was not that great. Next up, the biggest surprise so far. Well, for me, that's easy. It's Saga by Fiona Staples and Brian K. Vaughan. I'm so sad that the author and the graphic design, the illustrator, are taking a break right now, because all I want to do is keep reading the story. It had the worst cliffhanger. Like, I wish I could show you the final page. I can't because it's a spoiler, but it breaks my heart. It broke it. And I just had never read a graphic novel besides like a graphic novel telling like a book, you know, like the Lunar Chronicles has a graphic novel that goes with it, and like, you know, Twilight had a graphic novel version of something. But this was the first story that I read only because it was a graphic novel, and I read it for a challenge, and then I read all 9 in 2 days. And I'm really excited. I'm about to read The Last Man, which is another Brian K. Vaughan story, and I'm really excited for that one too. But this was a surprise, and I loved it. I gave almost every volume a 5-star. It was amazing. Next, favorite new to you or debut author. So for me, I decided to, because as you can see, all of these are like fantasy so far. So I decided to pick a romance author that's new to me, and I'm picking Tessa Bailey. I read 2 things by her. One is Fix Her Up, which has just come out, by the way. Really recommend it. I got an arc of that. It's really cute. It's about this woman who decides to take control of her life and just fix up her life, as well as her brother's best friend is an ex-baseball player, and he comes back to town, and she decides to help him get his confidence back as well. And then it was steamy, beautiful times. And then I also read Captivated, which is her book with, I can't remember, but I'll put up a picture. But this was a sexy, not BDSM, but like some like dominant and sub personality that, you know, it gives it the wrong connotation. This was a fun book. It was adorable, and the characters just like that stuff. And I loved it because they took that trope that we see in like 50 Shades, or we see in these like dark and heavy, you know, erotic things, and they made it really light and fun. And I read that book in like one afternoon, and it was adorable. It's about this girl who wants to be a stand-up comic, and she has a thing for her landlord, and they end up doing things, and it was great. Loved it. So Tessa Bailey, I look forward to reading more things from her, and I really liked her. Next, your favorite fictional crush. So guys, I got 3 for this, so pardon me. First up, I have Ren from A Curse So Dark and Lonely. I loved him. He's the character that's cursed in this story. He's made some bad decisions, which usually the Beast has done, and I just really liked him. I love how he cares for his people and how he is so just desperate to save them, and he doesn't know what to do. And then like Harper may or may not help him out with that. But I really loved him, and when I think of him, I smile. And it's kind of funny because I read this with Murphy's Patreon group, and we had such a fight going back and forth. Not like a fight, but like over who liked Gray and who liked Ren, and I'm Team Ren all the way. And hopefully Gray will get his own love interest and stays away from Harper, because I don't want them together. Next, I have Prince Civ from the Steel and Fire series by Jordan Rivet. This is an all self-published series. Prince Civ, I just love him. He's so smart and brave and willing to do anything for... you're going to see a pattern for who my crushes are, because there's one more after this. And I just love him. The series is amazing. I've heard on audio, they're also really great. And then the books, you just fly through them. Like, they're so easy to read. I also love Dara. She's my woman crush. I'm not going to go into too much what this one is about anymore because I'm talking too long, but I used to talk about this series all the time, so if you go back a few vlogs, you can probably find one where I'm reading it. And then third, a new crush and like love of my life. I don't have the book by me anywhere, but it is Lan from The Wheel of Time. He's everything that I want. An older dude, knows how to swing his sword, has his Aes Sedai to protect, and a love interest who I won't say. I mean, these are 23-year-old books, but no spoilers. But I love him. I love his sense of duty and sense of honor, but that he is tough and willing to be kind and a little romantic. Other people might not agree, but he's a little romantic in my opinion. And I am here for it. Here for it. Which leads me to new favorite character, and I have two. First, like I said, I'll come back to this. I say Ellerin. I really loved her character growth. I love that she took all this hate that was in her bloodline and her family line, and she is forging a new path, and she's going to do whatever she can to make right the sins of her family. And I love her. And she's just someone who sat with me. I read this the first week of January, and she still like sits in my head. She sits with me, and I love that. Second favorite character is Nynaeve Almira from Wheel of Time. Guys, I can't put into words how much I love her and relate to her. She is a healer from the town of Two Rivers, and when some bad stuff happens to some younger people in her village, like she's not a ton older than them, she's probably like 5 years older, is what I've been told. Then these like 4 young adults who are like 20, she gives up everything that she's doing and chases after to take care of them and be really suspicious of the forces and the people that have drawn her young friends like away from where they're supposed to be. And I love that protective part of her. I love how brave and fearless and how smart-mouthed she is. Like, it gets her in trouble sometimes, a lot of times, because she will just say what she's feeling even when she's in these dangerous situations, and she maybe shouldn't point that out to those people. She just will like call them on their BS, and I love her. I love her. And so I'm so into her. And so I'm reading the 3rd book in the Wheel of Time right now, if you didn't know. And I love her. So moving along. Book that made you cry. I have 2 right here. I have Beartown. I have a full review for Beartown, so I won't go too into it. But this is about a girl who's raped by a hockey star, and about the views of the town, and there's slut shaming, and there is corruptness, and it is heartbreaking because it feels like it's on such a small scale because this is a small town in the middle of nowhere, but the ripple effects of the choices these people make, it's heartbreaking. And then more recently, which I also have a full review for, you'll see, books that get me emotional, get reviews, is The Lovely War by Julie Berry. Also loved this. This is the story of Aphrodite, and she's on trial for infidelity, and she's explaining to her husband Hephaestus why no one can truly love her by telling 2 stories of 2 couples during World War I that she helps love each other. Maybe you think that doesn't make sense. It does. It's wonderful. read my review about that. It's great. Next, a book that made you happy. I didn't pull these two books up. One is a book I've read many, many times and talked about all the time. East by Edith Pateau. Just reread this book. Don't care that it's not new to this year. It made me happy, and I read it this year. Wonderful. And then The Duchess Deal by Tessa Dare. I smiled the entire way through this book. It was adorable. It was fun. The characters had sexy chemistry. They were sweet together. Tessa Dare, man. I haven't had time to read another one of her books, and it's killing me. But I got all these big fantasy books to read, and I haven't had time. Next, The Most Beautiful Book. Need I say more? King of Scars, beautiful. Wasn't my favorite book I read this year, but it's beautiful. Next, 6 books you want to read before the end of the year and the end. Wow, there's so many, so I'm just going to throw up a few for you. I want to read Demon World by Sally Green. I really, really love The Smoke Thieves. I really liked what was set up. I want to read that one. I want to read as many of the Wheel of Time as I can get through this year. I have books 1 through 9 and the prequel, but I'm going to get through as many as I can. Dance of Thieves, which I've had forever and need to read. This is by Mary E. Pearson. It is the companion series to the Remnant Chronicles, and I need to read it. I love the Remnant Chronicles. Read them last year. Adored it. Sorcery of Thorns by Margaret Rogerson. I really want to get to that one. And then Dark Dawn, which I've already said. So that is my mid-year freakout tag. As you can tell, as we went through, I got increasingly more aggressive because these things are hitting me. But yeah, so do you agree with any of these? What are your thoughts? I mean, you don't have to agree. These aren't my opinions, but just wondering. Yeah, if you have made it this far, please like this video and subscribe. I really appreciate it. I'm just hitting 600 subscribers, and that seems like such a small number, but also so big because I know you care. I'm not the fanciest booktuber around, and you still keep coming back, and ooh, is that a good heart? There it is. I got love for you. I got the love. So, I put up new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and you can watch some more of them right now. Bye!